Right, so let's see if the magic works. I'm sitting here with a man. I'm not even going to give his name. And I thought about saying to him, I want to record this bit. And I said to him, I'm not going to film your face. And I asked him if I could film it. And he said he doesn't want his face shown, which it fits, okay? So there's a question that I haven't answered yet. Asked. And he's going to answer it.
And the question was about faith, Simon. And I often hear people like Hitchens who...
I jotted something down yesterday saying, exactly 24 hours ago, I wrote, I'm sure I have faith. And I don't know what to say next. Maybe there isn't a next. Over to you.
Well, being a Christian, my way of describing faith is, the Lord said, you can only believe on me if it is given to you.
The Lord brought me some tobacco from him, by the way. That's the only reason I'm actually talking to him. Oh, by the way, it's got a lot of humour in it. Like, filthy fucking humour, okay?
Okay. Well, my faith is not a belief in the institution of Christianity. He says, you can only believe on me if it is given to you to be able to believe by my Father. Yeah? I woke up, having been told that Jesus is the light, the truth and the way. I woke up on a park bench absolutely convinced of the truth of it. And I describe it to other people as like being struck by an arrow of love, falling in love.
Yeah, love's the key word. Yeah.
And if somebody was...
Right, I've got a good one. Love as a virtue, what do you think about that? That was the last thing I wrote about love.
There's different types of love, and it can be a vice. It can be very selfish love.
That's the fucking answer. That's the fucking answer, you see? Right, but carry on. Carry on.
So, yeah, you've
we know about that.
Yeah. You've thrown me a little bit. Yeah, it's like falling in love. If you were to listen to a man who has never fallen in love, and he was to tell you that love, people who claim to be in love, they're just faking it. They're empty words. It's all about need and attachment. You'd know when you're listening to that man, he's never been in love. He doesn't know what it feels like. Yeah, and a man like that can only talk about it being the presence of 3 enzymes in your bloodstream that aren't normally there.
Waffling now.
And basically that is it. If a man tells you there's no such thing as love, it's just weak people who need to be attached, and they feign and create some kind of relationship, and then
hold on, I'm going to argue with you now. Aren't we all weak? I mean, it's so confusing being human.
I know
99% of people fuck it up.
We might be weak, Simon, but this is somebody who's saying that love, anyone who claims to be in love, is only feigning it because of their own weaknesses. How many times have I been told that my belief in Jesus is just because I'm weak intellectually? Bollocks. It's one of the most difficult walks I've ever made in my life.
He's a homeless bum, right? He's been homeless, sleeping in the fucking square, and he's even used a word that I don't know, eschatological. This guy's fucking nearly as clever as I am.
And that's what I'm very much focused on at the moment. I'm surrounded by religion. I don't want anything to do with Orthodox Christianity. It's an institution for control. It's actually against the teachings of Christ. And what Jesus said was, and what God has said through the scripture is, if you believe...
I was going to go to church this morning for the first time in my adult life, to go and nick £5 from the collection thing. It's already written in my blog.
David did it.
Because I've run out of fucking tobacco.
Well, David took bread off the altar.
See, look, see, I'm not a bad man. I'm not a bad man, Father Richard.
Yeah. And so, where was I with that? One of the teachings is, you will have no man stand between you and God. Jesus Christ is the high priest, and you're only mediator between you and God. Well, that does away with priestcraft. That means nobody's got authority over your faith. That's religion. Faith and religion are two different things. Completely
I know that. Yeah.
Religionists tend to believe in the institution they belong to and its doctrine, and that's what they will fiercely promote. Yeah.
But what? So, okay, look, I'm gonna have to guide him, which I don't do. So I wrote yesterday. I can honestly say, weird, bizarre. I don't want to know what's up there. but I got faith in something. That's enough for me. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there another line that can be added after that?
There's a lot of people in your position, Simon. They say that the Church of True Believers, who are guided by the light of Christ and who are aware of who He is, yeah, and who that light is, the Most High God, is a very, very small church. And one of the things that He teaches us is that I've picked you out from amongst others, enabling you to believe, yeah, and I've left better men and women than you not able to believe.
I don't like that better.
Well, let's just say that naturally well, it doesn't matter. In other words, I was someone who was an adult.
I mean, I know I'm just lucky.
Yeah,
I know I'm just lucky.
Okay, well, basically he's telling me that there's no distinction between me and the people He's left in unbelief, yeah? And He says many of them are mine also, only they don't know me by name, yeah? And they are guided by me also. They are my children, yeah? So there are atheists who are guided by a rightness inherent, yeah, it's coming to them, that guidance is coming to them directly, and they want to follow the things that they believe are right, yeah, which is do no harm to others, for instance, yeah. And there are others who have given license and given themselves over to that thing that is opposed to the light and opposed to the positive things and opposed to the maxim of do no harm. In fact, they are servants of darkness and actually wish to do others harm. They wish to oppress them, wish to harm them. And that's the war.
But what do you think, now hold on a minute, what do you think, I mean, you know, one of my main things, and I understand this, and a lot of people, I mean, one of the little things that came a week ago is, if you're damaged in childhood, it's far more damaging, it's almost impossible to get over. And you know, I have friends that deal with people in that situation and all sorts of things. I mean, what about that? I mean, what about if you're really damaged in childhood and you're spending decades grappling with it and suppressing the pain and all that kind of thing? What about that? What happens if you're 7 years old and you're sexually abused, okay, really badly, so bad that you go mute, say, for a year, okay? Are you responsible? Are you responsible for connecting with the darkness?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. That's a difficult question for anyone to answer, in the sense that we began our talk today talking about empathy and compassion. Yeah, I think empathy has to come out of a like experience, and I haven't had anything like it, so I can't imagine how somebody reacts. It's like child soldiers who, to initiate them into child soldierdom in Uganda and places like that, were forced to cut their own mother's throat. Yeah, and therefore you've broken down something that's a fundamental framework, a moral framework, and then they're lost. Yeah, they're all at sea with respect to.
There's hope. Do you think it can be so bad that they can never come back? Or
well, strangely enough, Simon, one of the things that I've noticed is that people who have had so-called ordinary upbringings,
I'm listening.
yeah, so-called ordinary upbringings, and they've just, say for instance, had a parent who behaved properly but was very strict and all the rest of it. Some of these people can become the most inhuman people we could ever encounter. So brutal, so callous, and they've had normal upbringings. And what you often find by someone who's been really injured, I call it the Humpty Dumpty syndrome. I call it you've fallen off the wall and all the king's horses and men can't put you back together. But one of the ugliest things about human nature is their ostrich thickness shell that they have around them. Well, people who've been injured tend to have a broken shell, and the softness of who they are really struggles to go through this bitterly difficult world. Yeah, they suffer at every single turn, but they seem to be the most beautiful finally.
Right, that's it. He's fucking got it. I'm gonna fucking cry. You don't know what you've just done. You don't know what you've just done, Mike. That's it. Did I fucking lead him? No.